These are the biggest wins of World of Warcraft, the War Within. Guys, like with every new World of Warcraft expansion, as soon as it comes out, of course, I'm going to make a video talking about the good of this expansion, the stuff that Blizzard did incredibly well. And of course, down the road, we will make War Within's biggest fails and blunders and disappointments. So be sure to subscribe. This is a video that I'm very excited to make because War Within has been a very good and solid expansion so far. And I just want to spend a moment talking about these several things that I have written down that I've gathered from you all that you guys think are the biggest wins from the War Within. And let's just geek out for a second. But first, everybody, we have to thank today's sponsor, Surfshark VPN. In today's world, protecting your online identity is more important than ever. That's why getting a VPN, such as the award-winning Surfshark, is essential. What Surfshark does is it encrypts your data and it changes your device's active location, aka your IP address. This is especially crucial if, like me, you're somebody that you do a lot of work, maybe in public areas using public Wi-Fi, which are notoriously vulnerable to data theft. I do want to highlight, though, that one of the best features of Surfshark is that ability to change your IP address, allowing you to appear as if you're in one of over 100 different countries. This means that you can even access content that is normally restricted in your country. Because after all, who here can say that they genuinely enjoy being censored? And if you're traveling the world by chance, Surfshark allows you to even set your IP address back to your home country. That way you can stay up to date on news and current events. This is probably not the first time you've heard of Surfshark online, and it's certainly not going to be the last. And there's a good reason why Surfshark is so popular. When it comes to the demand for internet privacy and data protection, Surfshark is just the best thing you can choose. So why wait? Secure your privacy with Surfshark today, and if you use the coupon code Nixxiom, you can get an extra 4 months for free. Check them out via the link down in the description, and let's get back to the video. Before we talk about the wins, okay, we need to talk about something else. We need to talk about kind of the mood of World of Warcraft before War Within came out. Here's the thing, Dragonflight did not exactly end on a banger. You know, it ended on this little cinematic where we have Kalecgos saying, hey, it wasn't about fighting dragons and, you know, engaging in a world of Warcraft. You know, it was about coming together as a family, and everybody groaned in unison, like, oh my goodness, what happened to my World of Warcraft? And then Blizzard's pumping out these trailers and things for the War Within, and everyone's just kind of like, okay, I mean, yeah, we're getting a new World of Warcraft expansion, but, you know, we'll see how it is. I mean, it looks okay, I guess. Well, guess what? You know, the mood might have been a little skeptical. The mood might have been a little meh, but then War Within came out and absolutely blew people's minds. Let's go down the list with number one, and none of these are in any particular order. Let's first talk about Xal'atath. The first big win of the War Within is actually the main antagonist of the expansion. And I've talked about this in other videos, but she's a villain that unless you played a Shadow Priest in Legion, unless you did that whole optional quest line in BFA where you interacted with her and N'Zoth, you probably went into this expansion wondering, who the heck is this lady? And oh my goodness, you know, we just had years of dealing with a pissed off elf woman, and now we're gonna have another one, just some pissed off elf lady? Oh my, Blizzard, can you do something original? People were skeptical, man. They were like, I don't know about this Xal'atath lady, but guess what? Xal'atath delivers. Right in the beginning of the War Within, Xal'atath is immediately established as this incredibly powerful villain, capable of destroying Dalaran, capable of manipulating all of these factions that we're interacting with all across this new expansion, where originally people might have thought that she was just yet another bad guy, someone saying, hey, follow me and I'll give you power. Instead, she became someone that was maybe making us even question ourselves, like, are we the good guys here? Or are we the bad guys? Does Xal'atath have a point with some of the stuff that she's saying? This character, rather than just being a boring one-dimensional villain that just wants to take over the world or bring about some big era of darkness, actually ended up being a well-written, beloved, and memorable villain that people are very excited to be engaged with over the course of these next 3 expansions. Little side note, but I think that that's something that players really appreciate about Xal'atath. I mean, usually when we get a villain introduced in World of Warcraft, you know, like the Lich King or something, we know that we are going to defeat that villain at the end of the expansion. But with Xal'atath, we know that she is not going to be the final boss of this expansion, meaning that it kind of begs the question, where is she taking us? Where is this story going? And it's making players pay more attention to her. A lot of people are geeking out over Xal'atath. She's just been a very well-received character, really cool, and despite any criticisms, Xal'atath has just been a really cool character so far, and I think people are very happy with her. Number 2, let's talk about delves for a moment. Delves are sort of Blizzard's second attempt at Torghast. Now, for those of you guys that didn't play Shadowlands, Torghast was sort of Blizzard's attempt at almost like a Diablo-esque style of gameplay within World of Warcraft. You go into this dungeon-esque experience. It's randomly generated. You sort of find power-ups as you go through it, facing bosses and stuff, whatever, solving puzzles occasionally. And players absolutely hated this. Like, sure, it was good, you know, the first few times, but after you saw all the power-ups, after you had been through this same stupid environment 10 times, 12 times, 20 times, it just got so boring so quick. And the fact that Blizzard made Torghast a mandatory piece of content just pissed everyone off. So in War Within, Blizzard gave us delves. Now, delves were sort of presented as, hey, it's Torghast again, but you're gonna have a greater variety, and it's going to be an optional piece of content. A piece of content that actually presents itself as a new pillar of progression at endgame. So normally when you hit max level in World of Warcraft, you're either doing mythic dungeons, you're either doing raiding, you're doing PvP, but now you can do delves. This is like an entirely new thing that you can indulge in. And from what we saw in the trailers and what little gameplay we got to maybe, you know, watch on our favorite streamer stream, you know, they looked okay, but nothing too special, at least until we actually got in there and got to play with them ourselves. Delves have been a beloved piece of content so far in this expansion. The large variety of them to explore, some of them taking you into mines underground, others are like these forgotten caves full of titanic ruins and stuff. Others are going deep into the heart of the Nerubian Empire. Some are even taking you completely underwater fighting giant octopuses. The delves have a great variety, and as you level these delves up in the various tiers of difficulty, you find more and more challenge along the way, more and more mechanics that you can play with, more and more systems to enjoy, puzzles to find, things to get. Delves have been fantastic so far, and speaking for myself and maybe some other players too, it is so cool to log into World of Warcraft, to do a dungeon, maybe hit up a delve real fast, then say, you know what, I'm gonna do one more dungeon, go into another heroic or whatever, do maybe one more delve, hey, do some world quests in between all of this stuff. It feels like a fantastic new addition to the end game that we can play with, and they're pretty fun to play while leveling up to. The best part about delves though is there's still so much more content to be discovered with them. New companions that we can take into the delves, higher tiers of difficulty, new gear that we can get, new sets, mounts, whatever. So delves have just been a wonderful piece of content that has been added to the game. And I think that if you're somebody that you haven't played the War Within and you haven't got into the delve system yet, you really should give it a shot. Number 3, warbands. I'm not going to spend too long on this point because honestly, warbands, or like a system like it, has been a requested feature of World of Warcraft for a very long time, probably going all the way back to original vanilla WoW. Essentially all warbands is all your characters that you create share everything. They share mounts, they share pets, they share sets, they share reputation, they can easily transport gold and currency to each other. It's just all of the characters that you've created, from your orc warrior to your human mage, they're all just kind of working together in this warband. And this has been a wonderful system, especially when it comes to leveling up alts. Like, speaking for myself again, I've really enjoyed getting my main character Nixxiom, my Frost Death Knight, to max level. But something else that I love is the fact that I'm currently leveling a fire mage in the Isle of Dorn and getting more reputation for my entire warband so that I can get more rewards on my Death Knight who is max level. So this is just such a cool system. Warbands, honestly, it's kind of like a long overdue system in World of Warcraft, but it is one of War Within's biggest wins. And it is going to be really cool to see how it expands in the future, especially with having like more backgrounds that we can have on the login screen for our characters. I think Warbands is a huge win for War Within. The fourth thing, and this is something that a lot of people are talking about, like goodness gracious, one of the biggest wins of the War Within is the world itself. You know, when War Within was first announced and Blizzard was showing off all these trailers and pictures and stuff of all these underground zones and whatnot, I think a lot of people probably were a little skeptical of this. You know, underground big cave zones might sound kind of cool and whatnot, but aren't they going to just all feel the same? Aren't they going to get claustrophobic after a while? You know, we just kind of have that natural inclination. We want to see the sky. We want to see the mountains. We want to see the trees and stuff. You know, it's what we like. We're not cave dwelling creatures. You know, we're creatures of sunlight and forest and stuff. You know what I mean? Well, here's the thing. Blizzard, I think, the art team really... The War Within is a beautiful expansion, and it's beautiful even in the sense of how vertical it is. As you are playing through this expansion, you will start on the Isle of Dorn, and suddenly you find yourself flying deep underground into a whole new zone. Then you're going even deeper into a zone like Hollowfall, which we'll talk about in a second, and then you go even deeper into these Nerubian caverns that are located who knows how far underground. And the fantasy of it is just fantastic. Just going deeper and deeper into the world and finding what horrors lie within. Going back to Hollowfall for a second, you know, Blizzard wanted to give us more than one zone that, you know, actually had like a source of sunlight in it. We had the Isle of Dorn like up on the surface, but you know, what about underground? Well, Blizzard gave us this really fantastic, you know, kind of high fantasy zone of Hollowfall, where there's this giant crystal up on the ceiling far away that periodically shifts from light to void energy. And so the zone shifts from being beautiful and radiant and full of light and sunshine and whatnot to being all dark and spooky and moody and void filled. I have seen the comment pop up a lot, but Hollowfall is probably one of Blizzard's best zones that they have ever designed, just in terms of creativity and just artistic expression. So one of the War Within's biggest wins so far has just simply been the world that they've constructed with this expansion. It doesn't feel like you're just in a giant cave the entire time while you're playing it. And even though you are, the cave environments and biomes are so diverse that it never feels boring or claustrophobic. And I think that's a big win. Number 5, the storytelling. You know, Blizzard, ever since they announced the War Within at BlizzCon, it has been very obvious that they have been going hard on the storytelling element of World of Warcraft. Blizzard has just been bringing their A game in regards to bringing back old characters and expanding on them, establishing new characters into the lore. The storytelling of the War Within has been fantastic so far. Tons of in-game cutscenes, plenty of dialogue to listen to, characters that people genuinely love, like Magni Bronzebeard's grandson. And even some really heartfelt moments like the loss of characters that people really love, and also the almost loss of some characters that are very beloved by the community. I already talked about Xal'atath at the beginning of the video, but she feels like a good villain that's genuinely a threat to the world and the characters in it. And I think that the storytelling of this expansion really establishes that. All the various factions and characters that we meet are unique. They're all special in their own way. And something else that's been cool about the storytelling in this expansion is seeing a bit of the conflict within certain characters. Like Anduin, for example, really struggling with his faith with the light in all of these cutscenes and trying to find things like the virtue of hope when he's fallen into such despair. That sort of stuff is really cool, and it does play into the name of the War Within, as cheesy as that might sound. But in practice, it's nice. The War Within has really brought these characters to life, and it's been great. Although I will say there are some cons to the story, but we'll talk about that in the fails video, and you'll see what I mean. And finally, number 6, and that is just simply Blizzard's attitude around this expansion. Wasn't really sure exactly how to word this point, but Blizzard seems to really genuinely love the War Within. We're getting these regular videos coming out from Blizzard Entertainment talking about the expansion, the future of it, what to expect, Blizzard explaining all the various features, Blizzard really hyping up the storytelling, really being in good communication with us, the community, with just how much they care about the game and how much hope they have for the future of it. And that's fantastic because, you know, if Blizzard doesn't care about their game, eventually the players will stop caring about their game. So when it shows that they're going the extra mile to really say, hey, we're committed to this World Soul Saga and it's going to be awesome, players see that. Players are hyped for it. And it's clear that Blizzard has a new love for World of Warcraft that they are expressing with this new expansion. Even the recent 20th anniversary event, this huge new raid, all these updated tier 2 sets, all this stuff that they announced for this anniversary is fantastic. Blizzard has just been farming a lot of wins lately since the release of this expansion, and that is such an awesome thing to be able to say, because it is never a pleasure to leave a comment on a YouTube video or make a YouTube video in my case, or have to talk with your friends about Blizzard not caring about their game or more bad news coming out of the company. It's not fun. So seeing Blizzard farming all these wins lately, seeing the hype, seeing the sparkle in their eyes, cheesy as that sounds, you know, it's been nice. So I think that these have been the biggest wins of World of Warcraft, the War Within so far, and I'm curious if there's anything else that you all would have added to this list if you guys were writing the script. Let me know down in the comments section below. Thank you for watching. Big shout out to the channel members who help support this channel and who also get early access to content as well as behind the scenes content. You guys are fantastic. Be sure to subscribe for the fails video where we're gonna pick on the War Within a little bit. You know, we can't, the no expansion is free of criticism, you know what I mean? So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you all with my next video.